Let's get to last night's games.
Okay.
What was the big takeaway from last night?
Well, it feels like there was a separation there between Kansas and not just in Purdue, but Kansas looked the part of a potential national champion.
Yep.
Gonzaga's got a chance to play for a national championship. I mean, boy, the bracket opened wide open, and they didn't look great. They just kind of. I think the big takeaway though is end of game situation disasters.
Yes.
And what are you doing for 7 or 8 months that you don't have a better plan? Arizona has to win that game, Dan. They're the better team. They have an 8-point lead. They have the ball. They have to win that game. And I feel terrible for Sean Miller because I think in terms of implementing a game plan, teaching fundamentals, he's an indefatigable recruiter. Like all the check. But their inability to manipulate a good zone. The last time out he ran a play for Dusan Ristic. It was like the fourth best player on the floor who hits the side of the backboard on a hook shot. And then they can't get a stop and they can't score a bucket. They have to win that game. West Virginia. I mean, that's somebody said it to Benny Hill music on Twitter. I mean, that was comical. Even Michigan, John Beilein, who is a coaching he's coaching legend emeritus. Their last possession was fine. The next to last possession was a disaster. I think end of game situations has been really disappointing. The execution, or maybe it's been amazing the lack thereof from so many of these teams.
Yeah, and that was my takeaway. I went, you have all of these timeouts, and then you have no timeouts, 30 seconds to go. You should know what you're doing. That's where you have these coaches. And, attention to detail. And I was shocked at what Arizona didn't do. West Virginia, take a 2. Get something. Put a little pressure on them. Michigan I was okay with. It wasn't great. It almost went down. He'd made a shot prior to that. I would like to have something more, but it feels like it's a layup or a long 3. That's what college basketball is now in the final seconds.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.